the day, the entire team is being honoured with a victory parade through the Spanish capital. Now, here on Quest Means Business, our Economic World Cup has also reached its own final. This morning, I sat down with the representatives of the World Cup finalists. We invited the Spanish and the Dutch ambassadors, but to the British ambassadors from those countries, to breakfast. I began by asking Carlos Casajuana from Spain, given the deep cuts in the Spanish economy, if the World Cup win would energise the nation.
This is a stimulus package in itself. We are sure that this will raise the morale in the country. This will boost, this generates the kind of enthusiasm we need. We are sure that this will increase the attraction of Spanish branding, Spanish brands in the world, the Spanish exports. We know that, well, this is a world event and it has an enormous impact in the economy. Some economists say that it could have an impact of about 0.2 points of the GNP, even more.
That's good news.
That's very good news. We need it.
You need it?
We all need it.
Is there a risk that it might have a bad effect in the Netherlands?
No.
No, I think the result will be the same. Also, I reckon 0.1% extra in the GDP, and the extra money geared by the whole tournament has been enormous.
Let's talk about Europe generally at this point, because Europe at the moment is very much locked into this battle over what happens next in the economy of this great project. The Eurozone, the growth versus austerity, as more and more countries are going down the path of austerity. Is this a good time for Europe?
I think that what one sometimes forgets is that since the crisis came, Europe has done a lot to get its act together to face the crisis. And people are very, how shall I say, they have no patience and they want to see immediate results. But for instance, in the European Union, if you talk about the European Union, we have to get around with 27 countries to decide what we have to do. And if you look back, that has been done in quite a reasonable short time.
I think my impression is that sometimes people underestimate the determination of European leaders to move on, to strengthen European cooperation. Of course, it's not easy because, as the ambassador said, we are 27, we have to agree, but where there's a will, there's a way, and there's a strong determination by most all European leaders.
They've done a pretty shocking job, the leaders. Yes, you know, I'm reminded of Churchill talking about the United States. They do the right thing after all other options have been exhausted or have been tried. If we look back at the way the crisis, yes, we got to the right result, but only after we'd always been brought to the brink of calamity.
Yeah, but that also has been the fact in the history of the European Union.
It's not a very, but just saying that, that's a pretty damning indictment of the Union.
No.
But all countries were, the world economy was on the brink of the abyss before, and while some countries were bolder, the United States were very bold in reacting, some European economies too. It took perhaps a bit longer to the European Union, but that's normal. We need to bring to.
No, Ambassador, maybe we need to be bolder.
Well, yes, but we need to be bold, 27 member states together, and that's perhaps the difficulty.
And it is not only Europe that has to be bolder, it's all the other players in the world economy have to be bold as well. Europe normally grows in crisis. It's very strange, but it does. Don't forget that in the early 80s, the European adventure was almost dead. And then out of the blue came a certain Mr. Delors, and he took us out of the mud, and he brought Europe again forward. And I have the impression that at some time there will grow something out of this crisis, which is good for the common good in Europe.
Were you surprised that your team got as far as it did?
Yes, I started to believe in the whole thing when we beat Brazil.
Ambassador, were you surprised you won?
I was not. No, I was not surprised. We expected our team to perform well. Well, you cannot count on winning the World Cup, but...
And finally, economically, since it's the economic World Cup, if we are sitting here this time next year, would you expect things to be looking much better for
Yes.
Spain?
I'm sure that the Spanish economy will be doing much better in 1 year time.
And you, Ambassador?
Yes, we will pick up our troubles and get on our bike and pedal.
The ambassadors of Spain and the Netherlands, and needless to say, we served them a Spanish omelette for breakfast. Now,